Welcome to DISCflex certification. My name's Helen Davis, and I am super excited to take you through this journey of certification. So, what is DISC and DISCflex, and why did we determine it was a great behavioral model so that we could help people flex for certain situations? That's really what this course is all about. Plus, getting you certified so that you can coach, so that you can grow people, so that you can mentor people. Whatever it is that your desire is, DISC can really help you with understanding people's behaviors, why they do things that they do, understanding your own behaviors, being able to situationally adapt and flex your behaviors, and then morph your behaviors and teach other people how to do that. And also understand people better from a core behavioral level, how to read people, how to adjust your behavior to them, how to really get stellar results through behavioral adaptation and flexing. That's what this course will teach you how to do. And of course, we are certifying through the International Coaching Association. After you finish this course, you'll be required to take an examination. It's multiple choice. You will have the ability to do an open book, and you can take the test as many times as you want before your certification. We just want to make sure that you have the body of knowledge under your belt and that you can actually be certified to be a practitioner and read through the reports that DISCflex has available. With the basics of this certification, you can read through the majority of the reports on the individual level, and we have another certification for the team reports, which are wildly, crazily amazing if you're doing any work with teams, groups, team dynamics. It takes the individual reports of DISC, combines them into one report so that you can see what we call the team's governing behaviors. And all of those courses are available to you. But let's start this one. This is the basics of DISC, DISCflex certification. So let's do a little bit of history about DISC. It was first put together basically in a paper, in a book called The Emotions of Normal People in about 1928 by a man called William Moulton Marston. Absolute genius of a man. The book, if you can get your hands on it, it is out of print. Please get yourself a copy of it if you're thinking about doing DISC for any extended period of time and you want the theory behind it. So anyway, he did this theory of the 4-quadrant model. And basically what he determined was if we can slice behavior and know about behavior in 4 different quadrants, we can start to understand the behavior of normal people. Now, the psychologists and psychiatrists that went before him kind of concentrated more on abnormal behaviors and pathologies. And he just said, I want to know what normal people do and how they do it and how they think about what they're going to be doing. And that was the basis of DISC. And that's why we fundamentally use it for coaching people in any situation. But mostly in these situations, it's going to be within the context of companies, organizations, and not nonprofit sector. So it's going to be work related to the most part for this certification that you're going to be using it. So Marston determined that the 4 quadrants that he was going to be talking about were dominance, relating to power and control and your assertiveness and motivation, self-motivation. That's the first quadrant. And that is dominance, the D in DISC. The I in DISC is for influence. And back when Marston did it, it was inducement. And that relates to introvert, extrovert, social situations, your need to communicate, how talkative you are or not. And then he determined that the S was for submission. We modernized that and we call it steadiness. In other words, your calm nature, your caring nature, and strategy, your need to think deeply and get a holistic picture of what's going on around you. So it is strategy and steadiness is what we in DISCflex call it. And finally, compliance. And compliance is your need to control through planning. It's organization abilities. It is need to be detail oriented and that planning aspect of your personality. So those are the first things that we talk about with DISCflex, are those four quadrants. And of course, the flexing, we don't believe that you are supposed to be in a behavioral box. We really believe that people can change and adapt on the fly for short situations and for longer term situations. And I'll give you the first example. Just imagine that you're watching a team coming out on the pitch, and they out onto the field, and they running out of the field, and they're super excited, and they're in the finals, and they're running out, they're all amped up, and they stand, and the national anthem starts playing. All of a sudden, all of that energy goes, and they stand at attention for the national anthem, very calm. The national anthem stops, they go, and their behavior changes again. Now they're ready to rock and roll and get into that sporting mode again. That is the ability of people to flex. And it's the same in meetings. You can be very annoyed in one moment and then go, oh, I understand, and be calm. Now, a lot of these behaviors happen subconsciously or unconsciously. What we want in behavioral flexing is to be able to adapt to situations and know what you need to do, how you need to behave, and what habits you need in those situations. Now, when we talk about flexing, that's situational flexing for the moment. The other thing we talk about is long-term behavioral morphing with DISCflex. So imagine that you've decided that you want to get more fit and you want to work on your arms and your abs and your legs. Well, you go to the gym. First time you go to the gym, it's not very comfortable, very much like starting to flex your behavior. You don't really know what you're doing yet, but as you keep on going day after day, month after month to the gym, you suddenly look in the mirror one day and you go, oh, my arms look more toned. I'm stronger. I can do this, and I know what to do at the gym. It's not so uncomfortable anymore. So if you can liken that to the process that you're going to go through and to take other people through when you're certified with DISCflex, that is what we're really aiming for, is that behavioral knowledge to be able to go from where you are today into what we call long-term behavioral morphing. And what that means is that, say you wanted to flex your listening behaviors and turn them into a habit, which is going from situation where you might feel a little bit uncomfortable doing it to long-term behavioral morphing, where it is a habit that you are an effective listener. So you start listening a little bit, you lower your D, which is that dominance, that need to talk is your I, and you go more thoughtful, which is the S. And we'll talk about all of these behaviors in detail in just a little while. This is just an example of what morphing could be. So over a period of time, you get more and more and more comfortable being in that S mode when it might not be high on your behavioral profile, and that's your listening abilities, your attentiveness, your calmness, your strategy, your thoughtfulness. And you flex that muscle over a period of time and you feel that behavioral muscle growing. That is what behavioral morphing is, when it turns into a habit where it's less uncomfortable, more unconscious, and a lot more comfortable and a lot less stressful, because learning new things, flexing situationally can be very stressful until you get those habits. So that's what the goal of this course is to understand situational behavioral flexing and long-term behavioral morphing, and to determine when you or somebody you're coaching or mentoring would need to do that. Super, super important. So let's get started.